Finally, winter is here! Yippee! Well, I guess that doesn't really happen in California, does it? But it is Christmas time here too, and it's also nearly the New Year. Think roasted goose, gift-giving, eggnog, and I guess even chestnuts roasting on an open fire. It also means thinking about what's happened in the year that's passed and what might happen in the new year that's coming. The hot tech items in 2017 were blockchain, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, which we now call IOT and AI for short. These new technologies received an incredible amount of attention in a short time. Now that it's close to the end of the year, we were wondering how and what has changed. To get the answer, we went to the IoT Tech Expo North America 2017. Blockchain has been, without question, the most controversial and maybe the most popular technology of 2017. Analysts already predicted that the global blockchain market will reach $339.5 million by the end of this year alone, and $2.3 billion by 2021. And it's not just hype. There's a solid basis behind those forecasts.
Has really been the emergence of marketplaces. So companies that are able to bring together a creator and a consumer and facilitate this trade and facilitate a marketplace in a decentralized way where it's truly peer-to-peer. Whereas before you had to have some central counterparty, some centralized authority that was the arbiter of facilitating this commerce. What we're seeing is that this is a great use case and a great application for the technology. I think moving forward in 2018, we're going to see a lot of really great use cases. We're going to see the technology expanding to the so-called bottom of the pyramid, where billions of people who have had no access to financial markets and the financial products that we enjoy here in the United States, people are going to start to have access to these products. Companies are going to be able to use this technology for things like supply chain management, for things like identity management. The list of possibilities of how this technology will be applied.
Sounds great, but there's still a lot of issues. For one thing, it's still not clear whether, when, or where exactly blockchain will find its best use. One analyst even says that blockchain isn't really that big of a deal. The changes it's likely to bring, according to him, aren't going to be revolutionary. They're just evolutionary.
That blockchain provides in a place that's known. It's over time. It's just an evolution. It's really an evolution of.
You may or may not agree with that, but one thing is clear. Blockchain is here to stay, and it keeps expanding. Some experts see its next step as a merger with the Internet of Things.
So we're absolutely seeing a convergence of IoT and blockchain. As we saw, I guess it was late last year, the botnet that shut down a large portion of the United States internet for a period of time. That is a prime use case for blockchain to prevent that type of activity from happening in the future. So being able to authenticate devices being able to communicate and have commerce amongst each other, exchange value, exchange information, verification that when a device is receiving an update that it's coming from a trusted source. So solving the man-in-the-middle problem. There is absolutely a convergence of IoT and blockchain technology, and it's a terrific use case. The hype is caused by several things. First and foremost, it's caused by the opportunity. There is a really incredible opportunity to build amazing businesses and to create technology solutions that haven't existed before. There's also a lot of hype because there's a lot of misunderstanding. People don't know really what it is, and they just don't want to get wiped out by it, hit over the head by something that they didn't see coming. There's also a lot of hype because there's been a lot of money raised through ICOs. For better or worse, there have been very large amounts that have been raised, and everybody wants to get in on it. People want to be that overnight success, but what I like to say is that companies that achieve overnight success, that night typically happens between years 7 and 8. There is irrational exuberance that we've seen in this market. At the same time, there are companies that are currently, we would look at today and say, how does it have that valuation? And we may look back at this and say, wow, it would have been great to get in at that point. and to be a part of that at that point, because the technology has the potential to be so disruptive.
But how exactly will the two technologies combine? There's one guy who's already got some ideas on that, and amazingly, he's also got a working prototype.
We're here to presenting our new device, which is a payment ring, which can replace credit cards, card keys, and every badges and identification systems. So the ring integrates NFC technologies. And it's able to have until 28 different applications, such as loyalty cards, business cards, personal cards, car management, home keys, badges and stuff. The ring also integrates several securities. If I take off the ring from my finger, the ring will deactivate, and only me will be able to make the ring work again. With the ring, you have to make a special gesture to authorize emission, and then your payment is totally safe, and you won't be pirate at all. And last but not least, the ring is fully autonomous.
What about the IoT itself? Some of you may think you know everything you need to know, but the field is changing faster than you can imagine. Many of the changes were unpredictable in the past and will be in the future as well. The Internet of Things, however, will be an inescapable part of our everyday lives.
So what we are demonstrating here is an idea of how you can use IoT to monitor the products as they move from manufacturing through shipment to the customers. So over here you see the setup. This screen over here is demonstrating how we monitor the machines on a plant floor as the products are being manufactured. And once the products are manufactured and they get shipped, we are monitoring the fleet, their health, their location, to ensure that the products reach on time at the destination. You know, everything in the world is getting connected. There are sensors being added to machines, to factories, to assets. And the idea that all these machines and assets and factories now will send data could have enormous value for enterprises. So what we do is we capture all that data and use that data to build insights, and then use that insight to drive actions. We need to educate the customers that IoT can drive ROI for our customers. Slowly and steadily, IoT is also creating a significant traction in the enterprise market. So we are working with customers who are monitoring their industrial robots in the manufacturing floor. We are working with customers who are using the monitoring of the fleet management and connect it back to their transportation management systems. So IoT is bringing in a lot of use cases in smart city, in public sector, in agriculture, in transportation, manufacturing, utilities. I think the future is bright for IoT. That would be driving predictive maintenance of industrial assets. What I mean by that is, if we can prevent a machine or a factory or a fleet from breaking down before it breaks down, that represents a significant reduction in the downtime of an asset. So I would say predictive maintenance is where most of the customers are focused on today. There is another innovation which Oracle is driving, which is called digital twin. So instead of having a physical machine, you could actually monitor the digital twin of the physical machine, a software representation of the physical machine, to do simulation, to do testing, to build your IoT applications faster, and to do modeling.
On top of all that, no matter how you look at it, artificial intelligence is inescapable. AI is happening so fast that it almost seems like we're living in an iRobot or Terminator movie. Has the age of the machines begun? Are human beings on the cusp of becoming irrelevant? We went and asked the experts.
Some robot is going to go and take over the world. That's a much more challenging AI task. And so I don't see that happening in the near future. I'm not really worried about that at all. What I'm more worried about is to make sure that we have educated AI experts involved in the policy making and education of the public.
I'm just kind of looking forward when a machine will be smarter than a human being, because that will redistribute a little bit of the workforce. And I came from a recruitment background, managed a staffing firm, so I see how labor and the change in technology would change the job. And I think that revolution will be exactly interesting because of this. Because maybe administrative work and maybe some of the finance work can be done by computers, and then instead of hiring a person, that AI can take over. And then the interesting part, what those workforce will do. And this is actually where it's kind of touches me from a human side, because that's when humanity has to evolve in order to do those kind of things that machines cannot do. So then those people have to be kind of sit down and be creative and understand that what is it to take to be human, and what can you do in your self-development, or how you can be a little bit more all-around person, and that a machine cannot do, and kind of look for those creative jobs they were not doing. They kind of get used to repetitive things, and now it is challenging our humanity to go to the next level and make it more creative. So I think this AI revolution, and I'm not an end of the world theorist, if we're gonna like do the right thing and survive, then we could use AI to literally come out from our daily routine and do these repetitive jobs for money, which is not really moving humanity forward, and forces us to really do what's the creative side that makes humanity better.
Helping out with cancer detection, helping out with interpreting blood tests, helping, healthcare, disease, or helping us to predict and manage natural disasters and pollution better.
Phew, that feels better. AI isn't really that scary after all. The robots won't terminate us. They'll just be our assistants, especially in parking.
Come back, more, come back.
Smart parking is really so the main theme this year for us is really smart city. So we're providing smart parking solution and a smart lighting solution. So this one can, reduce the traffic and also the pollution for the city. So for citizens, they can easier find the parking solution.
At WowTech Now, we think historians will someday say 2017 was the year that the Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and artificial intelligence began to merge and become one.
Well, I work on AI stuff mostly as relates to the space industry. So trying to make the spacecraft smarter so like they can monitor things better. Basically that with the Internet of Things, you have all these different assets. The more of these assets that you have, so they can be not very smart, like sensors, or you can make them smarter. These sensors are just everywhere. I mean, now everybody here has a smartphone that's like an expensive computer of 20 years ago. And so these sensors are going to be everywhere, and how we can use them to make society better. Like healthcare is a great example. I have a colleague who's trying to use all these things for healthcare. I have a fitness tracker, all these things. So there are very few phases of our life that artificial intelligence won't touch in some way. But I'm not a believer in this doomsday prophecy that some famous people have said about AI. And the reason is that as somebody who's a practitioner of AI and has been for quite a few decades now, AI can get very good at a very narrow task, but it has completely eluded AI to be as flexible and as general as a human. And people have seen AI be very good at visual classification. And so people are quite impressed by that. Or at playing a game like Go.
Well, that's about it. That's what we heard at the IoT Tech Expo North America 2017. Bottom line, the main trend has been the integration of technologies. The same trends are likely to continue. Blockchain, IoT, and AI are merging. Can anyone stop it? Can anything even slow it down? Only time will tell. But until then, we'll be watching and keeping you well informed. So stay tuned by subscribing. And don't forget, hit the like button if you like this one. See you soon.